Well, hello there, makers. This video is brought to you by the Quinta Creation Station at the Quinta Public Library. Check out the Creation Station on social media. In our last two videos, we set up the mechanics of our drawing robot and we set up the electromechanical stuff in our drawing robot. And this time we'll be using software to actually get it to draw stuff that we want. William here with you today. Firstly, let's download and install Inkscape. You can use other tool chains to produce G-code for use with our machine, but Inkscape has some extensions built in which allow it to generate G-code from drawings and some passionate community support. An internet search will find Inkscape's website where we can navigate to download it. After downloading it, run the installer and follow it through. Here we'll start Inkscape. Everything looks like it worked right, so we'll navigate to File, Document Properties, and here we'll check to make sure all of the options which refer to the choice of scale are the same. I'm making sure that everything is set to millimeters, but if you prefer inches, change the options on this page to that. If you're following along at home, you'll need an image to work with. For our example here, I will use the Creation Station logo. Before we continue, the tools inside Inkscape for producing G-code work, but are not actively being maintained by their developers. Inkscape is a community-built, open-source piece of software, and the G-code tools were made separately by an interested party. That party is no longer updating these tools. There may be some elements of the G-code tools which are at odds with... There may be some elements of the G-code tools which are odd or even dysfunctional. That said, I am unfamiliar with another free option to produce G-code like this, and the tools are still mostly working. Making sure our logo is selected, we will navigate to Path, Object to Path. G-code tools uses vector paths to determine the tool paths inside our G-code. Next, navigate to Extensions, G-code tools, Orientation points. G-code tools uses these orientation points to map the virtual page space to the G-code space, and these points are needed to produce the G-code. Select 2 points and click Apply. You'll see them pop up on the screen. Navigate to Extensions, G-code tools, Tools Library. This will give you a list of the tools that G-code tools knows how to make G-code for. We're going to select Graffiti and hit Apply. A big box with text inside of it will appear. Modifying the text within this box will change the parameters for our G-code with regards to how it uses the tool. In our case, a pen. The important parameters to change are the G-code before and G-code after path options. We need to set before path to the G-code command that drops our pen, and after to the one that lifts our pen. In the last video, we observed that to drop the pen, it is M05, and to lift the pen, it is M03, S300. So we'll change those options within this little toolbox. We also need to make sure that G-code tools has a legitimate place to save the G-code files too. So we'll go to Extensions, G-code tools, Path to G-code. Then we'll select the Preferences tab. And we'll change the file path at the top to a place where we know that we can save G-code safely. I save it to a G-code folder. We're finally ready to get some G-code going. So making sure to select the thing that we want to make the G-code for, we will go to the Extensions, G-code tool, Path to G-code. As of the production of this video, there is a bug which necessitates changing the cutting order option from subpath to subpath to pass by pass. So change that option unless things have changed and you know that. Select Apply. The tool appears to have thrown some errors my way, but it also appears to have correctly made the G-code, so I guess we'll take it. Next, we must correct another idiosyncrasy within G-code tools, or at least the graffiti option. Navigate to the folder where you stored your G-code file and open up that G-code file in a text editor such as Notepad. And scroll all the way to the bottom where we'll see a section called Footer. Within the footer, we need to move the M05 command below the G00X0Y0 command. If we don't make this change, the pen will drop at the end of the program and drag itself to home across your whole drawing, which is not something we really want. Save the changes to your G-code, and let's start up the Universal G-code Center. Within Universal G-code Center, we'll hit Browse, and we'll load up the G-code file that we produced earlier. If we click Visualize, we can see what Universal G-code Center thinks that the operations that it will perform are. We're very nearly ready, but we've forgotten an important step. Gather yourself some sort of writing implement and push it against the paper in the slot of the pen holder and screw it into the pen holder tightly with the thumb screw. You may have to use the springs of the pen holder to kind of put some back pressure on the pen so that it remains in contact with the paper at all times when it's in the down position. Now that everything is set up and ready, we will go ahead and hit Go on the G-code Center, and it will draw our image. Or at the very least, follow the G-code that we handed it, which hopefully will help it to draw our image. Pretty cool. Let's quickly run through one or two more images just to sort of repeat the process and make sure that we kind of get what's going on. For this one, we're going to import a flower image. Then we're going to set up our orientation points. Then we're going to add the graffiti tool, and we're going to modify its parameters so that it has the correct G-code for what we intend. Then we'll go to Path the G-code again, and we hit Apply. This will generate our G-code in that folder. Then over in the folder, we'll go ahead and edit the footer again, as we kind of have to do. Make sure the pen drop command comes after the return to home, save, and exit. Featured here is a pretty nifty G-code viewing website that will allow you to upload your G-code and kind of look at it and follow the operations that your machine will do. I think it also lets you edit G-code within it. Now, back in Universal G-code Center again, we'll load up that G-code of the flower. We'll go ahead and visualize it so we can confirm what the other G-code Center showed us, and we'll hit print. Here we can watch the flower get drawn. Looks correct. We'll repeat the process one more time with one extra little feature. Here we're going to import a JPEG. The bitmap will not work very well with our vector-based drawing robot, But we can use Inkscape to trace this JPEG and give us some lines that we can work with. So we'll right click on it and we'll go to trace, and then we'll just accept the default parameters there. It looks like nothing's changed, but when we hide the old JPEG, we'll see we have some neat looking lines. The way the trace has rendered our image here needs to be changed very slightly to be more usable by our drawing robot. And what we need to do is we need to set the fill of our paths to white and the lines of our paths to black so that we have the image on the screen right there. This is just a series of lines that we can now draw with our drawing robot. This time, for no particular reason, I am going to go to the tool library first, and we'll set up the tool parameters, just like we did in every other time. Then we set up the orientation points. And now path to G-code, where we will hit apply. We'll go ahead and check the new G-code in the online G-code viewer, and it looks like it worked pretty well. And we'll go ahead and make sure to edit the footer again. And then we'll load it into UGS. Check the visualizer again, and we can go ahead and hit print. I ended up drawing out a second of this image at a higher feed rate just to see how much faster it would print, and it was a lot faster. And this is going to wrap up this series of videos. I hope that you had fun watching along, and if you built one of these at home, I hope you have a lot of fun with it. If you have any advice or helpful comments about these sorts of drawing robots, please be sure to add them to the comments below, or you can send us an email. And thank you for watching. Hope you come into the Quinta Creation Station and check it out if you're in the area, and goodbye.